Hello, I'm Danny, and this is an introduction to the French horn. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through some horn basics, including how to put the French horn together, how to hold the horn, correct posture and correct embouchure, how to blow into the horn, and we're going to look at a couple notes that you can begin to play. So let's get started. So your horn is probably going to come in a case like this, which probably has 3 or so latches. Now, I recommend opening up the French horn case on the floor because of the shape of the case. It can get kind of awkward on a chair sometimes. So let's go ahead and unlatch the case and carefully open it up. And inside, we have our French horn. Now, you want to be careful when you're taking your horn out of the case because these funky tubes around the top here are tuning slides, so they can slide and come out of the horn. So we kind of don't want to grab any of those to take it out of its case. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the horn around the outside edge on this outside tube, which is nice and firm, which means we can carefully lift our horn up out of the case without having to worry. Putting the French horn together is as simple as it can be. Here we have our horn, which we just took out of its case, and our mouthpiece, which is the part that you blow into. The only thing you need to do to put the horn together is take your mouthpiece and just stick it right into the lead pipe there. Now, our horn is ready to play. Alright, now that we have our horn all put together and ready to play, let's talk about how to hold the horn in a playing position. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your left hand and rest it here over the 3 valves. If your horn has a thumb valve, your thumb should go over here. If it doesn't, it should have a little plate to rest it on. Now, with this ring here, your pinky could go inside of it, or could rest on top, or it doesn't have to hold it at all. It's up to you, whatever's most comfortable. So there we have our left hand position, which is resting firmly over the keys, free to press down any key we want, including this thumb key. Now, you may be wondering what we do with our right hand. You may have seen French horn players before that play with their hand inside of the bell. This is the correct way to play the French horn. Now, your hand, when it goes inside of the horn, should look like you're waving like a princess or a queen. A regal wave, cupped like this. When you put it inside of the horn, you want to make sure that it's on the outer edge, facing away from you of the brass. And when we have it inside, we want to make sure that it's not covering the entire hole. It's just resting there, comfortably inside the bell, with enough space so that sound can still get out, but we're comfortably able to hold the horn upright and move it around if we want to. Now, when we put it up to our face, we want to make sure that it's in a comfortable height with the horn resting up against your lap. So, as you can see here, I have the horn resting on my lap, a little bit close to my body, but notice how it's not directly turned into my belly so that you can't hear the sound. I have it facing outwards like this so that the sound projects away from my body. And all together, holding the horn should look like this, with my hand shaped like a regal wave inside the bell on the outer edge, my hands firmly resting, relaxed over the keys, and bringing the horn up right to my face. Ready to play. Correct mouth position and mouth shape on the mouthpiece, or embouchure, is very important when trying to get a good tone on the French horn. Now, the French horn mouthpiece is very unique. It has a very small bore, as you can see at the bottom here. Very small hole. And it has a cup that's conical shaped which tapers into the shank. This is the cup, the inside of the mouthpiece. This is the rim, the hole around the ring around it, and this is the shank, the part that goes into the lead pipe. When we put the French horn mouthpiece against our mouth, we want to make sure that 2/3 of the cup is filled with our upper lip, and 1/3 of the cup is filled with our bottom lip. A good trick is pitting the mouthpiece right at the very bottom of your bottom lip and rolling up onto your lips so that the mouthpiece rests just above the bottom of your lips and a little bit up above your upper lip. Now, when we actually start buzzing into the mouthpiece, we want to make sure that the corners of our mouth are very tight, as so, and almost form a little frown. You can see the corners of my mouth look like a frowny face when I put them in buzz on the mouthpiece. Frowning your corners can help with keeping them tight and making sure that you have a good seal around the mouthpiece and no air is leaking out of your corners. This will also help you get a good tone on the French horn. So now that we know how to hold the horn properly and how to put the mouthpiece to our mouth, it's time to start playing the French horn. So horn is pitched in F, which means that the fundamental pitch of the horn is a concert F. But it's also notated in F, which means that a C on the French horn is actually a concert F, which sounds like this on the piano. Now, taking into account everything that we learned about how to put the mouthpiece to our mouth and blow through the horn, let's see if we could try to match this pitch on the French horn, which is a C. Tight corners, blowing fast air through the horn with a tight embouchure. Just like that. Now, no fingers down. Same thing. Let's try again. Let's learn how to play our first few notes. If we use basically that same airspeed and embouchure, but just press our pointer finger down and press this first valve down, we get what's on the French horn, a D. It sounds like this. So we could just go back and forth for a little bit between a C and a D. Now, another note that we can play, holding no fingers down, is called an E. In order to play an E, we have to blow the air a little bit faster and tighten up our embouchure a little bit than we would if we were playing a C. It sounds like this. And the difference between C and E sounds like this. And with this, we have our first three notes on the French horn. C, D, and E. Oh, sorry, I was playing that with first valve. Here's the E. Open. There we go. All right. Now that I've showed you guys how to play your first couple notes on the French horn, I'm going to demonstrate some simple tunes for you, demonstrating characteristic tone on the French horn. Here is When the Saints Go Marching In. Here is my little dreidel. Here is We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed.